Did you know there's not a single part of the Bible that says anything at all about women needing to cover up any part of their bodies so that men don't lust after them? Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. I'm in Los Angeles right now for my book signing tour. You can check out my link tree for more information on that. But the only part of the Bible that says anything at all about women needing to cover up any part of their bodies is when Paul tells women they need to veil their heads when they're praying or when they're prophesying in church. And when Jesus talks about men lusting after women, he places the blame squarely on the shoulders of the men. And the only parts of the Bible that talk about women needing to dress modestly are very clearly, specifically addressing the need to avoid ostentatious displays of wealth and status. The Bible never says anything about needing to cover up any part of a woman's body so that men don't lust after them. And that is actually the topic of chapter 15 of my book, The Bible Says So.
He's a scholar. He knows the Bible inside and out, Old Testament, New Testament, line by line, verse by verse. And yet, there's something missing here. Not because he's wrong, but because the frame itself is broken. We call it the Bible, as if it's one book, one voice, one truth. But it's not. It's a layered descent. It begins with the Torah, 5 books. Not commentary, not interpretation, but something else. Something that doesn't feel written. More like received, like a code that landed. From there, the texts change, still sacred, still Hebrew. But now it's people speaking. Prophets, scribes, historians, visionaries, survivors, they carry the language, but the voice, it shifts. And by the time we reach the New Testament, we're in a different world, still searching, still reaching. But now it's stories about stories, words about words, men speaking about what they think God meant. That shift from divine signal to human interpretation isn't a fall, it's a descent on purpose. In Hebrew, we say, Yordem Leam, going down to the people. The message is trickling down to meet the people where they are. And yet, the original frequency remains buried in the Hebrew. Even in later books, if we know how to listen, we can hear it. That's what I want to show you in this video. How Ezekiel, though post-Torah, still carries the code. Still speaks from that higher source, not through tradition, but through the language itself. We often imagine religion as a structure, fixed, eternal, clear. But Ezekiel saw something else, not a divine hierarchy, but a human game, a performance, a system of coverings. He saw women sewing garments, not to warm or protect, but to elevate the powerful. Woe to the women who sew coverings over every noble of my hands. They weren't just making clothes. They were reinforcing a system where the elite wore holiness like a costume, and those who helped them believed they shared in it. That's the deeper trick, not just controlling others, but making the lower class believe they gain by serving the upper. It's the same today. Influencers are selling the illusion of transformation, products wrapped in ritual, and every buyer hopes, maybe I'll be like her, maybe I'll belong. Maybe by buying a product, I will buy into that class, into their life. But Ezekiel's use of specific Hebrew words rips the curtain. Mispachot, those headscarves, are not just fabric. They come from the root meaning to cling, to attach, to become part of something you were never meant to be. It's spiritual annexation. It's not birth, not becoming. It's dependency. And worse, it spreads. Leviticus calls it a skin disease, a mispachot that infects identity. The more you cling, the more you disappear. The women think they're alive, they think they're being lifted, but the prophet asks, and will you keep your own souls alive? Or are you just surviving while trading your voice for belonging? Hebrew reveals another layer, the word for to hunt. The same root also gives us the word aside, like to take a side, and the word justice. And what does Yahweh warn? Do not lean right or left. Do not take sides, because every side is a cut from wholeness. When justice becomes tribal, it stops being just. These women weren't evil. They were practical. They worked, they sewed, they were paid. But then came the lie, that their work had spiritual power, that aligning with power made them holy, and that lie became law. But survival isn't holiness and influence isn't truth. This is not just ancient. We see it now, just like today. Every influencer who sells a mask calls it a transformation. The language of beauty, of status, of belonging is sold like religion, and the crowd joins in because we all want to be close to power, even if it means being swallowed by it. Yahweh doesn't always fight with armies. Sometimes he sends a hornet, not to kill, to sting, to expose. The hornet isn't a weapon of war, it's a force of exposure. It doesn't destroy with power, it drives out what hides. But there's a hidden layer here. In Hebrew, the root means narrowness, pain, confinement, a plague, evil, and the land itself, Eretz holds the same root, a space that becomes tight, a place that restricts the soul. When you ask for protection, but refuse transformation, what you get is a hornet, a narrow path, a land that feels like Egypt, a structure that traps. Reality isn't separate from the wish, it's the shape your fear takes when you ask for security instead of truth. The Hebrew word for seam, TPR, also means to frame, to fabricate, to fake a case. Every stitch looks like care, but it's also a cut, a border, a break between who you are and who you think you should be. And yet, there's another Hebrew word shared by the same root, and its meaning is to solve, to undo, to release. Some women stitch the illusion, others solve it. Some hide in coverings, others pull the thread, and if you pull long enough, something wild appears beneath, the thing that violates. It is also the thing that enriches you, and he is the thing that will heal you, the untamed, the fertile, the true. That's what the system tried to cover, not just bodies, but wills, not just skin, but spirit. And when that doesn't work, something else arrives. A hornet, not an army, not a plague, but a sting, sharp, revealing, inevitable. The hornet is not punishment, it is truth, it is exposure, the end of hiding, the end of pretending. You thought the scarf was protection, but it was the net. You thought service meant elevation, but it was a hunt. Because when the people choose comfort over transformation, we get exactly what we asked for, a path of narrowness, confinement. The land becomes Egypt again. The soul returns to slavery. You wanted proximity to power, and now you're stuck inside its shadow. And the soul asks, am I still alive or am I just attached? Let the thread unravel. Let the voice return, not theirs, yours.